Here it is, guys, my 2021 Tremor build. So many of you asked what happened to it, where it went, due to just us being super busy, parts delays, things like that, and actually some very extreme tire delays. We weren't able to kind of get the build built on the timeline we wanted. But here it is, after much delay and much to my excitement, here's the final product. So now you guys have seen the truck done, let's rewind it and start from the beginning and try to figure out what we were trying to fix. So I'm gonna take you guys for a ride and kind of show you, after putting some miles on the truck, what we want to address. I've been actually able to, due to these delays, put about 5,000 to 6,000 miles on this truck and really kind of see what I do and don't like about the factory suspension and kind of some improvements we want to make along the way. The Tremor, a few people up front thought it was going to be a Power Wagon competitor, Raptor competitor. Clearly, and actually even in their documentation or their literature, you know that it's not that. It actually comes with the F350 rear leaf pack, which, as you could just see and feel, basically it picks up every bump on the road and transmit them to your seats. So anecdotally, my personal commute puts me down on some pretty rutted roads where a lot of 18-wheelers travel, and they're pretty tore up. And specifically when my passenger seat is empty, aka pretty much every day I drive to work, I can actually watch the whole passenger seat shake as I'm going over all of these ruts caused by these big rigs. Now, with that, obviously, you know, we can let out a little bit of tire pressure from the factory tires. The factory tires are basically set at 80 PSI from the factory, which basically has us riding like steamroller drums. However, the factory suspension, again, does leave a lot to be desired. Up travel wise, I think there's only about 2 inches of up travel, so it's pretty poor. And even down travel, which is something you need when going over dips or when the front end is rebounding. The front end of this truck's extremely travel limited, and that is where a package like the Carli suspension package comes in pretty handy. It actually virtually doubles the travel of the front end of this truck, which just allows for a lot more suspension movement. So we're gonna get the suspension tossed on right now and hopefully be able to mute all of these small imperfections on the road, as well as the big ones such as dips, freeway interchanges, things like that. We're just looking for an overall better ride at the most basic system that Carli suspension offers. So the very premise of a Carli suspension kit is a custom tuned shock and spring combination. Now we're going with the most basic setup that they make and the signature leveling kit with this truck. There will be videos down the line detailing a lot of the other systems and even some of the other options available to these systems, but today we're going to be delving into, again, the most simplistic system that they offer. So again, this is the signature leveling kit, and that's going to come with Carli's own signature series shock. Basically, years ago, Carli used to use some Bilstein 5100s in a lot of their systems, and they decided, hey, you know, these shocks are really popular, but there are a few things we want to improve upon, so let's build our own shock and contract a manufacturer and really build the best shock that we can at this price point. So at the time of this filming, that shock package actually runs for $480 just for the shock package. It's got billet rod ends, it's got a clear coating that has some kind of crazy 1,000 upon 1,000 of hour salt bath test, so it's not going to rust. Comes with boots, and again, the most important part is it's actually a proprietary tune to Carli suspension in order to match their coil springs. It is actually a system that's been tuned, someone's driven this truck on the highway, off-road, and all these different situations to make sure the truck works really well and that the end consumer is very happy. So the base signature leveling kit does only include front shocks, but again, I did opt for the rear shock upgrade, and I chose to do that just to control these factory F350 lift springs that come with the Tremor package. It's something Ford forces upon you, so we will do videos down the line detailing the Attapacks and the full springs. I also opted for the sway bar end link upgrade because, again, I do plan on doing the torsion sway bar, the complete replacement sway bar, at a later date. So the end links are going to keep me one step closer. If you have no plan on doing the full sway bar, you can actually use a sway bar drop, which is much cheaper than these end links. We also went with the track bar, which is an upgraded version from Carli. And again, that's going to prevent death wobble, start on the front axle, and allow these 37s to clear. And from there, you have just the standard kit components, and that's going to be new front brake lines, are made in the USA brake line. Shoot, even a lot of these manufacturers now are resorting to sending those overseas. So again, these are actually made in California brake line. Still, the effective travel of this system is almost double of what the factory suspension travel is. So no worries there as far as loss of travel or ride quality. And there's also going to be alignment caster shims, which are very crucial in the Super Duties as far as just preventing death wobble, getting your truck back to factory specs as far as alignment is concerned, and actually making sure the truck just tracks straight down the road. Now, speaking of comments that we're going to get on our video, the next one is, why on earth did you buy a Tremor package and why are you putting upgraded suspension on it? Well, I bought a Tremor package so we can actually make this video and actually talk about the differences from firsthand experience and not just commenting across the internet. Secondly, I thought the truck was cool. There's the front axle upgrades, the valence. By the time I've actually sold some of my stock stuff, I've actually recouped a lot of the costs, so it really wasn't too much of a concern. And again, after we got the truck, it was really easy to see just how lacking the ride quality was and how much it was improved, especially giving us the opportunity with that stock 350 leaf pack. We can actually show you guys down the line just how much the rear end doesn't move stock and how much it does move with the upgrades and things like that. So again, the Tremor is no different in terms of suspension in regards to fitment. A Tremor, an F250 and F350 will all use the same suspension systems. The final height on the trucks is all going to be the same. So if you are looking to level, whether it's a Tremor, a 250 or 350 from the same year, the final height with 37s is going to be just the truck that you're seeing in this video. So you guys are good to go there. Before we show you guys the final product, let me just show you the differences that this suspension makes even driving around town. So already you can pretty much feel a difference just pulling out of our shop. The street we're on is frequented by big rigs for deliveries, things like that. So there's a lot of imperfections. Most of these imperfections I could feel. If he wasn't sitting in this seat filming, I could literally watch my passenger seat shake, partially in favor of the, partially thanks to the 80 PSI in the tires, as well as the, pretty rigid stock suspension. Again, the Tremor does come with the F350 rear spring pack, so the rear definitely does not have the most plush feel to it whenever suspension is required. Again, those factory wheels and tires, those were a huge culprit. Not only do the factory required pressures really hurt the ride, but just an overall stiff tire. This 37-1350 is like a high weight capacity D-rated tire, which does allow for a little bit more sidewall flex. That pothole we just went over before, again, I would watch everything shake in my center console as well as my passenger seat kind of toss back and forth. So there's a huge improvement just in kind of standard around town driving. All right, so coming up here we have probably the biggest dip in the neighborhood. This is one that pretty much most cars come to a complete stop to or are familiar with it. So I'm gonna try to capture it a little bit better and give myself some speed, but as dumb as that might look on camera, that is an intersection where normally it would toss everything out of the truck, or out of the cup holders and kind of throw you around, but it's much smoother. So again, for being the most basic setup, I think it's really hard to beat this system. Here's me another big one that you always see us film these trucks around quite frequently. And we're gonna pick up a little speed. This is kind of the speed that we take some of the King setups just to kind of shake them down before we hand them off to customers. And as you can see there, the truck was fully composed, unlike before with the stock suspension system. So again, for the money, I'm completely happy with this setup, cannot complain. And yeah, I think for an entry-level setup, or for someone not wanting to do off-road or not basically do enthusiast level off-road in their truck, I think this is the system for you. So let's get to the wheels and tires. This is a 37 by 1350 R18 Nitto Ridge Grappler. At the time of this filming, that was an extremely hard tire to get. We actually had to source even this set from 3 different distributors. So it's been a little interesting with the 2020 and 2021 product shortages, but I'm very happy to end up with this tire. It's a tire that I've talked about a lot in the videos. I've always run the RTs and the MTs before. Extremely happy with the final result so far. Aesthetically, I think this is an extremely good looking tire. So far, it's been extremely quiet, although I've only put about 500 miles on it. I'm still very happy with them. The wheels you're gonna notice are a little bit different. We went with an 18-inch Innovate G500 wheel. Now this is a brand new wheel. Actually, when I got the truck, they are still in testing. We're a little bit behind the curve in releasing this video. These wheels have been out for about a month now, but you will notice finish-wise, we went with something a little bit different. Most of the builds we have are either raw or an anodized finish. I actually went with a gloss black finish on this wheel, and I think it fits the build perfectly. I think the finished product speaks for itself. It's extremely aggressive, yet still isn't as stands out as trucks you'll see across the internet. So it is a package I really think that most of you guys can install in your driveway. Again, the trimming's very minimal. Just a hair more than you'd see us do on some of the plus 18 builds with the 37 1250 tires. So thank you so much for following along with this build. We've gotten a lot of comments, emails, phone calls, asking us questions. We will be releasing a lot more videos throughout the year detailing the upgrades. This is just step one. However, I do think for those of you who just want a better ride on your truck and don't want to go down a whole rabbit hole of modifications, I would give this Signature Series leveling kit a hard look, whether you have a Tremor or just a 250, 350, or even a 450, we have a package for you guys as well. This is a simple setup that's going to improve the front end ride quality. It's not going to break the bank relative to all the other systems out there. It's basically the same price, yet you're getting all made in the USA components in just a much better package. And yeah, I think for the money, keeping your towing capacity as well, those of you who do not want to touch a single rear spring, haul in-bed campers, things like that, give a hard look at the Signature Series leveling kit. Personally, I think the ride is excellent. Again, for the money spent, it is impossible to beat. And I'm about out of breath, so thank you so much for watching the video. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one.